Well, hello and welcome to Nick Catone Mixed Martial Arts Academy here in Brick, New Jersey for Shore Sports Network TV's interview series, our first one, and hopefully of many more. I'm Bob Batters, and today a very special guest joined by UFC Bantamweight #1 contender Marlon Moraes. Got a title fight coming up, and we're really happy to catch Marlon for a couple minutes. First of all, just thank you for allowing us to come down. I know it's a busy time for you, and training coming up for a huge moment. So thank you for coming down.
Thank you, man. My pleasure to be here with you and speak with the people a little bit about me, about my career, and about my upcoming fight. You know, it's very important to let people know that I'm here. I'm here in New Jersey, and I'm representing all of you guys.
You know, coming up, like we said, UFC 238, fighting for the vacant UFC Bantamweight Championship, June 8th in Chicago against Henry Cejudo. I mean, this is a huge moment for you, obviously. You know, what will a win there do for your career, for your family, and just everything? I imagine that's been a dream of yours for a long time to be UFC champion.
Been working a long time to be here and to get there and get this opportunity to fight for the belt. And June 8th, I want to accomplish my dream. I want to get in there and win, and win good. I want to do what I love. I want to go in there, have fun, fight, do what I've been doing in my last couple fights, and come back with that belt.
You, from what I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, you started in martial arts, Thai boxing. You were around 7 years old in Brazil, and from there, obviously, you went on to start training jiu-jitsu and become full MMA. At what point, did you start feeling like, all right, Thai boxing, time to move on from that? I know you had great success there, were national champion in Brazil for a couple times. Was moving to MMA something you always thought about, or was that something that just kind of came about? Did you always figure you were going to move on from just doing Thai boxing to doing more?
Growing up, I loved the martial arts. Like you said, I was doing Thai boxing, and I started jiu-jitsu. And I always watch Pride, I always watch UFC, and I have the Gracies, Marco Ruas. I always been a fan of those guys, Minotauro and Vanderlei Silva, Frankie Edgar. And I always look up to these guys and kept training kickboxing. And when I started jiu-jitsu, and a couple years after I started, one of my friends said, man, you should do MMA, That's the future. I said, man, but I'm too light. There's not many divisions for me. And he said, no, but in the future, this sport's going to grow. And I think you can succeed. You can do very good. And I just started the transition. I did a fight when I was 18. And I didn't embrace the sport like full time. But a couple years after, I had the opportunity to move to the United States and be a full-time MMA fighter. And thanks God, my career worked out, and here I am today.
That's what I was just going to ask you about. That first fight, April 2007. 18 years old. Happy birthday, by the way. I know your birthday was just recently. What do you remember about that first fight? The first time getting out there in the ring for your MMA fight.
I remember the preparation. I didn't have the properly training, but I have the fighter's heart, and I always been a fighter. I been in fights, but I never in an MMA fight. And I just thought about, man, I'm gonna see this guy and I'm gonna fight him and use all the weapons I have, the grappling, the striking, and I'm gonna win. And I remember myself walking in the arena, it was a small arena, and I remember a couple of flashes from the fight. So it was a good fight. I was able to land a couple strikes, and he tried to take me down. I reversed, I took his back, and I finished him. It was a good fight.
You definitely remember a lot about that. You mentioned small crowd. I imagine, obviously, you're fighting a lot bigger crowds now. Do you remember that first fight where it was different, where you walked in, you said, oh, okay, this arena's bigger, this is a bigger moment?
Oh, man, I remember, I think now everything changed. It's a lot of responsibilities. By there, I was just a young guy, having fun, having my girlfriend watching me, a couple of my friends, and that's it. Now I have a lot of responsibilities. I fight for my team, I fight for my family, I fight for my kids, for my wife, for the people in Brazil, in Nova Friburgo, my hometown, the people in Thames River, New Jersey, my city, the city where I live, all the friends I left in Florida, It's a lot of responsibilities, but I'm ready for.
in World Series of Fighting, you became the Bantamweight champion. You defended your title 4 times. And I remember, as a fan of the sport, and I know a lot of people at the time, really felt like you were an underrated guy. People weren't paying attention to you as much as they should have and really wanted to see you in the UFC fighting against, the name guys. I mean, I'm sure you felt the same way. So just how exciting was that when you became a free agent and the opportunity was there and you signed with the UFC a couple years ago?
Yeah, that was a big move in my career. And, man, I was tired of just keep fighting, keep putting in show, and people not giving me the credit I did deserve. But I was fine. It was a lot of pressure to fight those guys that nobody knew. They were very good records, but they were not saying I was the best. I want to be the best. And to be the best, you got to fight with the best. I took a big cut on my paycheck, and I moved to the UFC, and I'm happy, I'm doing what I love. I'm fighting with the best, and I have a title shot right now, I'm very, very happy, and I'm ready to do what I just said. I'm ready to be a champion, prove to everybody I'm the best.
That first fight you had in the UFC, that didn't go your way. You lost a real close split decision to Rafael Assunção. Since then, 4 straight wins, 3 straight first-round finishes, 3 straight performance bonuses. You submitted Assunção in the first round in your last fight. What's been the biggest difference for you over those last couple of years? Because you have really turned it on to the point where, every fight, in that first round, you've been finishing guys, and obviously now you're fighting for a championship belt.
Man, I always tell my coaches and my friends, that's not excuses, It's just a matter of time. And happen. Was always in me. I always been doing that at training. Everybody that sees me every day know what I'm capable of. And I just went in there and I performed. And the fights, they last like 1 round, like my last couple fights. But I'm ready. I'm ready to fight 5 rounds as well. I'm ready fight 3 rounds, and I'm ready to be in there and perform, and I'm a tough fight for anybody. I know I am.
I know in some interviews you've mentioned your upbringing, growing up in Brazil, poor neighborhood, a lot of crime, and I know you recently went back there, with your wife and son, and went back to your old gym. How much do you think about that, kind of your upbringing, and use that as motivation? Because I know you went back and heard some stories, and it's tough for a lot of those kids there. And obviously you've made it to the point where you've made a really good life for yourself, here with your son and your wife. But do you think about that a lot and use that as motivation, where you come from to the stage you're on now?
Yeah, that's a big motivation for me. And I was just telling my friends that it's very important to go in there and tell those kids that they can do whatever they want, Some of these kids, their dreams is be a bad guy. And for the girls are like, man, I want to be a bad guy, girlfriend or wife, That's not how it's supposed to be. I just told them, you just got to believe. I'm here. I'm fighting for a championship belt, and I came from here. I came here. I was here. I showed them pictures. I was here. At your age, I was going to the same school you are going now. So let's believe. And this is what driving me, man. I'm going June 8th. I'm going to take the belt. I'm going to take it back to those kids and show them, hey, listen, I told you could do, I just did. And then now you can do whatever you want.
Do you enjoy that, being a role model to certainly kids like that who they're growing up in the same neighborhood you grew up in, training at the same school that you started off in, and also, any kid around here that might have difficult circumstances? Is it important to try to be a role model like that and show them what they can do?
For me, the sport is about that, I don't care about fame. I don't care about the money. I don't care. Of course, I have my family. I want to provide for them. But it's not about buy an expensive car, expensive house. It's about be happy for me. I want to enjoy life. Of course, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I want to be a model. I want to represent those kids. I want to show them I'm from there and I won. That sport I'm gonna use this way. I don't want to go to arenas, Sometimes I don't even like much social media, and I do pictures, but sometimes I'm a little shy of who I am. For myself, the sport's about this. It's about represent those guys and bring my city name, my country, my friends, all the way to the top.
You got a really good group of guys to train with. Beautiful gym here with Nick Catone. how did you get hooked up with a lot of the guys you're training with now? Certainly Frankie, Ricardo Almeida, again, Eddie's here, I know, Alvarez. It's a great group, and I think people are finally starting to catch on to what a great group of guys this is to train with on a daily basis.
Yeah, unfortunately, who brought me here, it's not here anymore, It's my big friend, Edson Barbosa. He first came here. We helped Frankie for training and for Ben Henderson, and we end up staying here many years. But Edson, he's in Florida now. He kind of moved, he made the move. Was good for him, good for his career. I miss him a lot. We always walk through together. But he brought me here. He introduced me to Mark, Frankie, and I end up staying. We end up staying. I'm still here.
Mark Henry, as you mentioned, he's a guy that obviously is a renowned striking coach now. That was your background coming up, so you've always been a very good striker. But how much has he helped your career and kind of the way he looks at the fight game and his striking? Because we've seen all the guys he's worked with. He just seems to click with you guys and work with what you do well, and we see that in the cage.
He has a passion, for this. He not just do this because he's a coach. He does because he loves. He wants to be the best. So we learn together. He helped us a lot, and we are able to make a lot of adjustments under his wings. And I'm very happy, man, working with Mark. And I learn a lot. And I feel myself now a different fighter. I can see things that I never seen before.
Moving on to the fight coming up June 8th in Chicago, in following your career, you're not a guy, you're not going to talk a lot. Like you said, it's business with you. You're kind of, soft-spoken. You let your actions in the cage doing the talking. But it seems like Henry Cejudo's kind of brought a little bit more passion out of you than usual. Is that more of what he's kind of said publicly in the media, or is that just more of this is a title fight and he's the guy standing in my way?
No, he's just a different guy than I, He's a wannabe, he's the gold champion, Olympic medalist, He talks a lot, and he keep trying to create like memes, And he wants to be that guy that I don't want to be, But he's he unfortunately, I'm gonna be on his way for the second belt, and I'm gonna be ready, and I'm bringing the pain, I'm going there to hurt him and make him pay for everything he said, and I'm very excited. I'm ready, and I'm gonna show up, man.
You seemed, just in some of the interviews I've heard, you seemed almost a little annoyed that he's going to come up from 125. Obviously, that's his division down there, and now he's coming up to where you are. Almost in an arrogant way is kind of the way I thought maybe you described it. I mean, is that accurate? Does that kind of annoy you? Like, hey, he's coming up here. He doesn't really belong in this division.
Yeah, make no sense, because he said before, I'm fighting for the 125 pounds division, want to save the division, Dana, please, and then he wins, and now, I'm going to go up again. Make no sense, he got big ego, and he's fighting just for himself. When we in the cage, we fight just for ourselves. I don't understand why he said he was fighting for somebody else. If you're fighting for somebody else, you shouldn't be fighting. I fight to myself. I fight because I love to do what I do, and I can't wait, man. I can't wait to be across the cage, see him on the other side, and man, he's going to regret, He's not going to be too happy inside the cage with me for 25 minutes.
Do you feel like your size is going to be a big advantage? Like that's something that, like you said, you're going to make him regret coming in there, that wasn't a good idea?
Yeah, the size can help, but it's just the style and the skills. I believe in my skills and my style, and I got all the weapons to beat him.
Obviously, he's known for his wrestling, Olympic champion wrestler, coming from a decorated amateur background in wrestling. You have to feel like as long as you keep him from getting those takedowns, you have a massive advantage striking, because the striking is definitely not his what he's the best at, and that's where you're the best.
Man, I would say he's one of the best wrestlers ever, but it's just different sport, MMA, you have punches, you have kicks, you have jiu-jitsu. It's a totally different sport, and I see myself with a big advantage, and I can't wait to prove.
You fought for titles before, like you mentioned, like we mentioned, a World Series of Fighting. You had multiple title defenses. this is your chance going for a UFC belt. Does it feel any different getting ready for camp, or you try to keep everything the same and just prepare for it like it was just any other fight? Like, how do you approach that?
It's all same, you know. Looks like I'm going to my first UFC fight or a World Series of Fighting fight, you know. It's always a fight. When the cage locks, is you across all the men, and whatever's watching from outside, you don't even look outside. You just look in the guy. If you look outside, you're not gonna fight. So when I get in there, I'm focused, and I'm focused. When I'm in there, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to win, and I don't care who's outside.
There's guys that talk a lot, and they do that for a lot of reasons, promote the fight, get in their opponent's head. That's not your style. Is that important to you, to no matter what your opponent's saying? I know you're going to respond a little bit, but to keep that level head, because that allows you to just focus on your training and not let them get in your head and not let them take you off your game?
It's good to answer to a little bit, and it's good to laugh a little bit. Stuff that people try to say that they're not really saying, you know. But the thing is, when you say something that you don't mean, man, you're going to have to pay for it, you know. And I'm not going to forget. I'm going to keep holding that. It's going to be another motivation for me. I'm going to train harder, and I'm going to remember everything you said.
Any predictions?
I'm going to finish this guy. I don't know when, but I'm finishing this guy.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Marlon. Again, Marlon Moraes, UFC Bantamweight #1 contender, fighting for the vacant UFC Bantamweight Championship against Henry Cejudo, June 8th in Chicago, UFC 238. Marlon, it was really great to come down here and talk with you for a couple minutes. You know, you've had a really great career, and I know the best is yet to come. So thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you so much, and I just want to tell everybody from New Jersey, from Toms River, guys, I live here. You know, I really appreciate all the support I've been getting from you guys, and I hopefully June 8th, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to win, and I bring the belt here, and we all going to win.